It's week 2 of my monetization challenge. Welcome to Saunders Sisterhood. This is a YouTube channel for the single and childless, not by choice person. Before I get to giving you my stats for today, first, Gavin and I'm gonna go get a coffee, and then the check engine light soon came on in my car, which is a huge pain in the A, and so I'm going to go get a free diagnostic test to let me know how anxious I should be about it. So stay tuned and see how I did in week 2. All right, so we're at week 2. It's been kind of a busy week this week. Like I alluded to earlier, kind of a low point of this week is I was driving around and then my check engine soon light came on, which is just a huge inconvenience. Now I gotta find the time to take my car in during the work week, and God knows how much money that's gonna be, and just sort of the inconvenience of trying to fit all of that in. That's been the low point, I think. And then in terms of a high point this week, we finally got Gavin's stitches out. He was at the park playing and he ran into something and he needed 4 stitches, which meant he couldn't go to the park, he couldn't run and play, he couldn't go to the beach. So he was a little out of commission for 2 weeks. And so it was really good to get those out. We got to go back to the park, he got to see his friends and have fun. And that's a source of a lot of joy for me. So I really enjoyed that too. One of the things that I thought I would do in these videos is, being single and not having kids, there's a lot of subtle messages and not so subtle messages, right, that we get in through social media, the mainstream media, not so mainstream media. And of course that happened again this week. So I thought I would take a few minutes just to talk a little bit about one of those, especially if you're single and childless, not by choice. I'm sure this story kind of hit you hard and got you thinking and maybe even a little bit of rage. There is a Chiefs kicker who, they never make the news, but this guy was able to step out and get some publicity and news for himself, where he was giving a graduation speech. He was talking to a bunch of 22-year-olds that are just starting to make their way out in the world. They just accomplished a 4-year degree in graduation, and he was set to give them some advice. And he gave them some kind of crazy advice on such a momentous day as that. Now, I'm all for everybody being able to have their own opinion and everybody being able to cultivate the life that they want. It just really emphasizes that there's really no thought, particularly related to whether or not somebody becomes a parent. There's really no thought that this isn't always a choice. So I'm going to read to you what he said, and then I'm going to give a couple comments. So he said more than this, but this is the piece that I picked out. He told women in the class that they've been told, quote, diabolical lies, unquote, about pursuing careers, and that his family's success is a result of his wife's focus on being a wife and mother, claiming that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and mother. No problem with that. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for her that this was something she wanted and it was able to happen for her, and she feels really good in it. I'm happy that he appreciates that about her. What I don't like is that he is speaking to all of those women and implying that if they're not either of those two things, that then their life isn't really going to start. He is implying that they always have a choice in that. And he's sending a message that, listen, odds are there are going to be many women in that group that are going to find themselves not able to have children. That's just the stats. And to send that message to them at such an impressionable age, I don't know. I don't know if that's the message to send. Maybe he could have taken the opportunity to talk about how being a wife and mother is a acceptable other choice if that's what they want. But to imply that your life won't start until that happens, I don't know. That rubs me the wrong way, particularly as somebody who is single and childless, not by choice. And again, not by choice. So the other last thing I'll say about this is it's a really interesting phrase that he used, the word diabolical lie. It sounds really harsh, it sounds really aggressive, and it sounds really angry. Almost like it really angers him that some women balance motherhood, wifehood, and having a career. And that feels a little uncomfy for me. So not sure what you think about it. Again, I'm all for somebody being able to stand up and say how they feel. I just think you got to know your audience a little bit. And this is like such an impressionable age that he was getting up there and talking to. And I wish he would have talked about that as a meaningful option, and that there's other meaningful options too, particularly for those people who may find themselves where this isn't a choice. We'll see what happens in the news next week. Odds are something will happen. It really seems like this is starting to drip in the culture a little bit more in our face. I think the subtlety is starting to drift away in terms of the messages that we're sending people related to partnership and parenthood. And so as they come up, I'll comment a little bit about it. Some of you may also notice that I have some varied comments in the comments on my channel. Any comment that is kind of belittling or even negative, I will keep up. And the reason that I keep those up is because I want other people to see that this isn't just in people's heads, that they get stigmatized and disrespected and devalued if they're not a partner or a parent. The exception to that is if somebody leaves a comment that is being a real jerk to somebody else who left a comment, then I delete those because that's just being a jerk for jerk's sake. And I'm not doing that on my channel. Now let's get to the stats. So last week, my channel had 425 total subscribers. Also had, I think it was 20.1 thousand views and 1.2 thousand watch time hours. So I do think the watch hours are going to be the hardest thing for me. Again, my goal, to recap, is to be monetized by the end of this year. It is May right now. I think this is a big stretch goal for me, but again, this is going to help me with consistency and ideally support. So drop some support, or if you need support, let us know in the comments and we can give that to you. So this week, I launched 2 videos, my week 1 monetization on Sunday, and then on Wednesday I dropped a video about my egg freezing story and just some thoughts about that, how I came to the decision to do that, what it was like to freeze my eggs and then not use them and just have them on storage in perpetuity, and my thoughts around that. So you can watch that video. I'll put that as an end screen if you're interested in that. So this week, I'm really thrilled with the analytics this week. I am at 446 subscribers. So that's an increase of 21%. subscribers. That's a big increase for me in terms of historically what I typically get. And then my watch time hours are 1.3 thousand hours and my views are 21.3 thousand. So I had a good week this week in terms of just getting more views, people subscribing. Hopefully they are finding some value. I know that this niche is not, like this huge lifestyle niche. I'm really passionate about making sure that women who are single and or childless not by choice have some community, have some resources out there. And so I'm just really thrilled that people are coming to the channel and finding a community that is difficult to find maybe out in their real life. So we'll see what happens next week. I post these videos every Sunday and we'll leave you this week with some videos of some fun moments that brought me joy with my dog Gavin. I hope you guys have a good rest of the week and see you in the next one.